inflates the guy's ego more than he did himself, like as a historical figure. I mean, he enacted the Trail of Tears against, the Supreme Court of the United States and said they've made their decision, now let them enforce it, and then enacted Indian removal policies in the South. I mean, the man had a lot of blood on his hands, and to try and put on a play called Bloody, Bloody Andrew Jackson, that I specifically remember when we heard about it, we looked up the script and we read it, and there's a whole monologue in this play where Andrew Jackson's character gives this big, giant speech, and there's a line on there that's Indians would be better off drinking themselves to death on the reservation than here. And they wanted to put on a play and call it art and put that on. They didn't talk to the Native community before they got the funding to do it. They didn't talk to us when they did casting. They didn't talk to us when they wrote the script. And then like 3 weeks before they're set to perform, we hear about it, and we send an email. We're like, hey, we should have a conversation. And we got a lot of heat from different press outlets saying like, you're being too sensitive. It's art, let it happen. And a lot of the pushback we got was that like it's not that big of a deal. When there were students, Cherokee students in that room whose families were fractured. Half of their family was in North Carolina, half of their family was in Oklahoma, who had stories of their relatives who were forcibly removed, who can show pictures of their ancestors who had this damage done to them, and a group on campus who just could not fathom or understand the concept that that is a problem or that is offensive. And the way we went about it is, honestly, we made as much noise as possible.
Dude, you're a baby. You're so young, but you've done so many amazing things already. And you've been gifted with an amazing mind, but more importantly, a kind heart. And as a community that is here to support and wants to see you succeed. And what I've been so inspired by with you is that it's not simply enough to go and make a name for yourself, which you've definitely done, but every step forward that you take, you bring your community forward with you. And I hope that you're able to continue doing that in the future, and I want to say thank you for allowing me to be part of that. So, thank you. And Dalton, we got a lot of history. You've been a very stable base in my life, and I think a big reason for that is because you do these little things that you don't really have to think about, but they're so meaningful to the people around you. And I think it's really reflected in the work that you do. You're out there, you're advocating for students, you're seeing the potential and what these kids can achieve, even if they haven't been given the resources to achieve everything they can just yet. And I like to think that someone like you read over an application from a kid who didn't really know how college applications worked. He only applied to 2 schools. He didn't know what the SATs were, and he took them because he heard they were a good idea. And to prepare for them, he watched Sherlock Holmes. He wasn't going to school every day, and his grades weren't amazing. But 6 years ago, someone like you read over that application and thought, you know what, I think this kid has something. And that opened up a whole new world to that kid. That opened up a whole new world to me. So I want to thank you for being an advocate, seeing the good in people and giving them that belief. Because even though there's like such a small act on your part, it can mean a world of difference to them. So, Dalton, Dakota, thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your life, and thank you for being my brothers. Aho.
So I had to have Oliver go first so he could say all the nice stuff. Please know that all the nice stuff is in my heart, but if I say them all, I'm not as strong as Oliver, and I will get emotional, and I can't have them knowing that I have emotions beyond snark and sarcasm. I met Dalton his freshman year, and he annoyed the heck out of me. He really did. He was this wrestler who just thought he was hot stuff and would just come prancing through the dining room. I'm trying to study, and you've heard my story. I was struggle busing, and then here's this cocky freshman just walking through the dining room, just puffed up. Look at him. Look how he's built. He doesn't have to puff up. But I just remember being really irritated, and then after a few weeks, I realized we were cracking the same jokes. And we shared similar senses of humor, just very dark and twisty, very quick. And then his family came, and damn it. His family gave me one. Don't look at me. Me every week. Get up, turn around. I hate these guys for how much they made me love them. And I so appreciate what they've done for each of you, and you might not know yet the power of what they've made for you here. But it's people like this that let people like me be who I am in spaces where I was never allowed to be. And in a space where I didn't have the family that I needed, they created that. So when I said earlier to go up to these guys and thank them, I mean it. Because you're going to be really hard-pressed to find folks who are so incredibly and unapologetically devoted to your wellness and to your success. So Dalton, you big dummy. I adore you. And now there's probably film saying that, so you can go ahead and, yeah, tap this guy for that. You've got it on film now. I adore you. And Dakota, I'm so immensely proud of you and what you've done. And I quite literally introduce you in topics everywhere as, oh yeah, he's friends with the Obamas. Just to give people an idea of the level of impact you've had on the community. But it in no way begins to scratch the surface of the impact that the two of you have had on me. So we just wanted to take an opportunity to thank you. And we have a little present for you. These are on behalf of your parents, on behalf of us, on behalf of everyone in this room, and on behalf of every person that you guys have positively impacted because of the work that you've done and that you will continue to do going forward. So.
Before we go to breakout sessions, I just want to say, like, it warms my heart to see this, but we also recognize that we have like an immense amount of privilege that we have been able to make this happen. And we recognize that, and we know that of like the 250 kids who are registered and who are here today, there are dozens of other kids who can and will and should and could do things just like this. So like, we don't want to say like we're just the only people doing it, because we're not even close. We're just fortunate and privileged enough to have this small piece of an event to bring everyone together. And we love seeing other events and love seeing everyone else be able to thrive and succeed. And we know it's far beyond just us, but it's about every single person in this room. So thank you. And yeah, let's do some breakout sessions, because I'm getting the feels. No, thank you guys. It was an awesome morning. I feel super privileged, loved, and blessed. And let's do some breakouts. Yeah, so these are by Louis Gong, who has 8th Gen. It's a native-owned blanket company who's native-owned. It's like Pendleton, but native-owned. We have one of these. I was just told one of them is up for a raffle today. So ask questions in your sessions. It's a flicker bird. So everyone here up in California are feathers, are dance rigs. Check them out. But check your programs. I'm going to be in the fire room doing a breakout session. Dom's going to be doing a session. Snack's going to be doing a session.